As we see what's happening in the world, it is very easy to get discouraged and think the fight for democracy may just be over. But our colleague Ali Velshi's new book about his own story proves that small acts can sometimes change the world. The book is called Small Acts of Courage, A Legacy of Endurance and the Fight for Democracy. And it highlights his family story moving from South Africa to Kenya to Canada, including Ali's family's efforts in Canadian politics, shaping the way he views politics. Quote, absent any legal barriers, the real force keeping South Asians and other immigrants out of office was simple inertia. The people who ran for office were the people who had always run for office, and identity was a huge piece of that. Joining us now is the host of Velshi, the great Ali Velshi himself. Thank you, Ali, for coming to work 15 minutes early.
There you go.
The things I'll do. I finally made it. I'm on the weekend. Like, this is kind of amazing. So I'm very excited to write a book to do this, because you guys have been on the air for like 18 months or something. So I decided at about 12 months, let me see if I write a book. Maybe I can get on their show. So I'm happy to be with you.
Well, Ali, it is a real treat to have you. And, you know, as a politician, there was a passage in your book that really kind of stands out and strikes a chord. I'll quote from it. To this day, when I hear people run down politics and politicians, I recoil, because cynicism about politics is actually a luxury of those who have never had to experience life without it. And if those people ever truly lost their ability to participate in the system, they'd never take it for granted again. There is so much power and truth in that realization. How was that part of you? How did that be? How was that a part of your journey? That coming to understand how all this was connected, and the absence of things matters.
Yeah, I mean, my great-grandparents, my grandparents, my parents, and my sister were all born in places where they could not vote by virtue of the color of their skin. They grew up with some of the basic indignities that you get in racist societies, and more importantly, the sophisticated ones that you get when you're outside of the political system. So under apartheid in South Africa, there were the little basic silly things that happened. My sister went to the zoo and wanted to, take a pony ride, but that was just for white students. Or if you got a sore tooth on a Wednesday, that was too bad, because the dentist is only available to non-white people on a Monday. But there's the idea that you're not involved in politics. So when my family got to Canada 53 years ago or something like that, they jumped into politics. They went to gatherings of all the political parties. They really leaned into it. And finally, my father ran for office when I was 11 years old. That was the passage that you were reading from. And I was devastated. Election night, he lost. And I thought, what did we do this for? Why did we win if we weren't going to win? And my father said, we were never going to win. But we got to run, we got to participate, the election's over, everybody goes back to normal, nobody goes to jail. And that idea that if you are in a democracy, you have an obligation to participate in the politics of that democracy, or you cannot complain that that democracy is not being fair to you. Citizenship is an obligation as much as it is a series of rights.
One of the most striking stories you tell in the book, Ali, is about sort of the night that Barack Obama wins the presidency, and you're still at the time working at CNN, and everyone is deeply emotional because they realize that they're witnessing history, and it feels in that moment as though something has shifted. But you actually realized, covering the George Floyd protests, how wrong that was. What is it that is crystallized for you in that moment and in the days after?
Well, in that moment, and it got, that night that I was covering what was actually a peaceful protest, and then the police and the National Guard, state police and Minneapolis police come in, and they start opening fire with rubber bullets and tear gas canisters, and I got hit by one of the rubber bullets. I realized that for all these years where people were saying, what a great job you have, you're at the front row of things that are unfolding in history, and I realized in that moment, in this long unbroken chain, that we're not on the front row. We're in it. We're in the arena. Journalists and every other American citizen. And that the fight for democracy and freedom is not over. You can never give that up. I grew up in a democracy. I grew up lazy. I grew up thinking, I had the entitlement of thinking, this is just how it is. And on that day, I realized it's not how it is. If you don't fight to preserve those elements of democracy and participation on an ongoing basis as a citizen, and in our case as journalists, you can lose it. And that's the situation we're in right now. It's an important message for people that you can make little changes, but it is on you to actually make them.
You can make little changes, but it's on you. I mean, so important right now. We hear a lot about democracy, and that's on the ballot, and then people will often juxtapose that and say, oh, but look at the economy, look at what's happening here. I don't think the two things are in different lanes. I think they are intertwined, and it's the same part of one story.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I would love to be in a society where we're having big discussions about where interest rates should be and minimum wage and unionization and universal health care. But we're not there right now. We're not in a world. And frankly, it's dangerous for all of us. It's dangerous for conservatives in this country who don't have a party that represents them, in which people can attend a candidates meeting like I used to with my father when he was running for office and look at these candidates and say, I like where that one stands, or I like where that one stands. We don't have that privilege right now. They're stealing democracy from us because you've got to cast your ballot for someone who believes in democracy. Thankfully, there are, in fact, many conservatives in this country who share that view, that they'd like to bring our democracy back from the brink. But for the moment, where we stand right now is the choice is binary for Americans. Choose democracy in November, whatever it is you like or don't like about your candidates, and then we move forward and we get to discuss how we fix this economy, make it work for everybody, not just for some, and make our politics more fair. But right now, we are all frontline soldiers in the battle for democracy, and that's what I want people to take away from this.
Don't you just love Ali Velshi? His
Man.
new book, we just love him.
He's
The
the
new
man.
books, folks. Small Acts of Courage, A Legacy of Endurance, and the Fight for Democracy is out Tuesday. I have my book, and Ali Velshi will be signing it. Ali, we
Deal.
love you. We appreciate you.